Hello, Tyler James here from Comics Launch. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot of news breaking, a lot of interesting things going on in the world of crowdfunding, and especially we will always take a slant from the perspective of writers, artists, comic book creators, publishers, etc. And so on the live stream today, we're going to talk about Kickstarter's just announced today, their new year 15 strategic vision. And they're announcing really some big changes coming to the platform that I want to dive in deep on. We're also going to do a deep dive on the late pledges feature that is now available for all Kickstarter projects. There are some surprises in terms of how this is actually being implemented, how it works, and I'm going to break it all down. We're going to look at it, and I'm also going to share some pro tips so that you can keep the funding coming after your campaign is over using this new feature that is now turned on and available for all Kickstarter creators. So I'm going to dive into that. But I'm going to start as we let folks get in with just a few ComixLaunch Pro campaign shout outs. One of the things that I love doing is shouting out some of the awesome work that's going on for other creators out there in our community. If you don't know, I run a community called ComixLaunch Pro, and a part of the community is a series of programs specifically focused on teaching crowdfunding. The flagship program is called the ComixLaunch course, and every single month inside the ComixLaunch course, we have a cohort of creators that are live and funding on the Kickstarter platform. Some 30 plus creators in our community will launch in the month of May. And I just wanted to shout out a couple of them whose projects are live. This one, I believe, just went live from our good friend, Rob Multari. So this is the latest Nightwolf. Let's watch a second or two of Nightwolf here.
Do you love stories about anti-heroes and supernatural beings like werewolves, vampires, demons, witches, zombies, and more? Then Nightwolf is the comic book series for you. Nightwolf's unique take on theology and mythology encompasses elements of horror, magic, fantasy in a modern setting. Hi, I'm Robert A. Malteri, the creator and writer of Nightwolf, as well as the founder of Lone Wolf Comics. It's been my dream since I was a kid struggling with attention deficit disorder and dyslexia to be a comic book creator because comics have helped me learn to overcome my disability. Born into an outcast breed of werewolves known as the Monokai, 18-year-old Rodney Marcelli is reluctantly thrown into an ancient war between good and evil in today's world where the line has been blurred. With the help of Snowpaw, the pureblood Monokai, Rodney must learn to master his newly found lycanthropy and mysterious kinetic energy power that only he possesses. Rodney must fight the Dark Covenant in order to avenge his friends and family and to save the girl he loves from the master vampire, Lord Malice.
So Rob is just a great example of a creator that has been running with his core idea, his core IP for Nightwolf, and been just doing a phenomenal job with this series. This is the volume 1 and 2 collection that he's got running right now, just launched. Little personal shout out. I have a short story in the end of his volume 1 collection, a 4-pager that I wrote for Rob. And I know he has a bunch of guest writers and artists on the new one as well. So if you are into urban fantasy and sort of superhero mixed with the supernatural, definitely check out Nightwolf. Also want to shout out this project from Mark Abnett called Schism. Let's watch a second or two of this one with an awesome Goran Parlov cover, which is pretty cool. Let's watch this. So one thing that I'll just coin out for all of you creators out there, Kickstarter's, this video has been optimized for Kickstarter's new video preview. If you probably noticed, if you've been searching on the Kickstarters, when you hover over a project, the video will start playing on silent. And so Mark and his team made a really smart move to make sure to include some of the pitch material in text, such that when you're seeing really compelling images and some text, some teaser text, so that anyone that maybe watches the first 5 to 10 seconds of your video on the Kickstarter page gets a little more context. It's that's.
Hi, I'm Mark Emnett, the writer and one of the co-creators of Schism, and I'm here to tell you, don't buy this book. Here's a list of other things you could spend your money on. Aluminum foil, a bag of fertilizer, 900 popsicle sticks, a foam roller, 120 dog poo bags, 72 rolls of budget single-ply toilet paper, which your butt will not thank you for, a Miss Kinky portable hand mirror available on Amazon. Don't waste your time with 100 pages of pure joy and entertainment, throttling through a post-apocalyptic Spanish city, tearing down the walls of a dream that's truly a nightmare. Don't pledge early and get an exclusive Goran Parlov print for free. Physical backers only, of course. Don't reward yourself for your hours of hard work slaving away for someone else. Just don't buy the book, and you will never know what you have missed out on.
So I love the reverse psychology. I'll be honest. I am someone who I'm usually sold before I even click the video, and I don't actually watch a ton of Kickstarter videos. But I'm glad I clicked on that one from Mark. Pretty good stuff. Pretty funny stuff. Love the sense of humor. But yeah, these are just a couple examples of the many projects in our community that are going down right now on Kickstarter. So just wanted to shout out a few of those before I get into the content today. I'll also just share that if anyone is out there who is looking for some support around, hey, how do I get started with this Kickstarter thing? The best thing for you to do is just go to my free masterclass, ComixLaunch.com/class. And it will take you to a free class. It runs about an hour. There's a little question box. So if anything is confusing, or if you have any questions, or if I somehow managed to not cover the question that you had in this training, you can just submit it through the box, and then I will follow up with you. Runs about an hour, and it basically condenses my decade plus of launching projects successfully on Kickstarter into an hour, an hour container with some of the best. And then also at the end, it will give you some information about the ComixLaunch Pro program and community, how we can keep working together, how you can join the community and get some extra support to make your projects come to life. So ComixLaunch.com/class is where you can get at that. All right, the core of what I want to talk about today, and actually I had intended to jump on and talk just about the announcement that late pledges are available now for all Kickstarter backers, but Kickstarter decided to go and release a video dropping their new strategic vision. And that is basically something that I want to address first. And so I'm still going to do a deep dive on late pledges. And so if you're someone that is like, oh, wait a minute, like, what do I do now? What's the new strategy now that Kickstarter is supporting late pledges? What does this mean for my past project? What does this mean for my current projects? What does this mean for my projects that I'm setting up right now? We're going to dive deep into all of that. But where I want to start is with where Kickstarter has started, and that is they've just announced a new strategic vision for the company with some pretty big and subtle in some cases, but big announcements about the direction, the attitude, the approach that they are moving in as a company. And so I want to dive into that. If you go to updates.kickstarter.com, you can check out Kickstarter's details and all of their updates. And this has been it's sort of been their blog or their updates page for a while, but they've been very, very active at updating this page lately because they've been very, very active as a company. I've said it recently several times that in the last couple of years, I think they've been more active at avidly making swift changes to the platform than they did in like the first decade. So Kickstarter dropped this new vision post and a video featuring Everett Harso and some other members of the Kickstarter team. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play some of this video, and I will share my commentary on it as well. We'll be stopping it and looking at that. So let's see what Kickstarter has in store.
Hey, I'm Everett Taylor, CEO of Kickstarter. For the past 15 years, Kickstarter has had a very clear mission: to bring creative projects to life. To date, over 23 million backers have...
I misspoke. Everett Taylor, sorry. That's Everett's name. I believe Everett Harso is another creator.
Pledged more than $8 billion to creative projects on Kickstarter, successfully funding over 250,000 projects.
So 250,000 projects, over $8 billion on Kickstarter as a whole. What does that look for comics? There have been over $242 million successfully raised. There's actually nearly $2.5 million live being pledged right now for comic projects, 255 live projects and comics. Overall, in terms of successfully funded projects, 18,536 projects have been successfully funded in the comics category. So comics is definitely not one of the bigger categories in terms of projects launched on Kickstarter. As you can see, it's actually, pretty low in the pack there. It's, bottom third. But where comics thrives is success rate. Comics far and away the highest success rate. So that's one of the best things about being a part of our community, is that when we launch projects, we tend to get them funded. All right, let's keep going.
From films to music, tech to fashion, tabletop games to comic books, restaurants to visual art. Some of your favorite creators have used Kickstarter, and Kickstarter has helped some of your favorite creations come to life. These success stories are possible because of the creators who have trusted Kickstarter to be a launchpad for their ideas, and because of the millions of backers who want to be a part of bringing new ideas into the world. Because of you, we've had an incredible 15 years, and we want to step up our game and push ourselves to show up bigger and better for you. So today, I'm excited to unveil our new vision for Kickstarter.
So some things to keep in mind about Kickstarter is that it is a company that for most of its 15 years, it really has one revenue source. That is taking 5% of projects that fund. All right. It doesn't take anything from projects that don't fund, because those projects don't actually make any transactions. But it takes a small percentage of all of the funding raised by every project that successfully launches. So, you can actually do the math on do the rough math on Kickstarter and what, as a company, how much revenue it generates. You can see, it take 8 billion, multiply that by 0.05, and that gives you kind of a rough estimate of how much money Kickstarter has generated in its 15 years. So it's an interesting thing. But one of the things as a tech company that Kickstarter, I think, has been wrestling with over the past couple of years is that its growth is no longer like a hockey stick growth like a lot of tech companies want to be. It's a pretty steady. The growth is pretty steady, but it's also kind of flatlined to a certain extent, where certain categories, their year over year go up, but overall, there's not like 2x, 3x, 5x in terms of growth of total projects launching and total funding being raised on the platform, which means for a tech company, often growth is one of the key things. Kickstarter has been historically a little bit different, where they haven't been sort of venture capital like backed out the wazoo, where they have to get a return for their investors, and so they're looking for cash grabs and they're looking for growth at all costs. But anytime you're a company with literally just one revenue source, that can be a challenge. And so one of the things to look for as you think about this strategic vision is, all right, are they going to be finding some ways to add additional revenue sources to their company? And I think that's what you're going to hear.
We've been asking ourselves, how can we be even better at supporting creators on their journey? Well, here's what we know. It takes more than money to bring an idea to life. You need solid marketing to reach and grow your audience, a good grasp of fulfillment, logistics, constant communication with your backers, and dependable connections with distributors and manufacturers, among other things. There's a lot of untapped opportunity for us to support our community beyond the funding period. We need to go beyond our core crowdfunding service.
And so this is actually a pretty big change from Kickstarter in the early days. They early on said, hey, our part is this. We're really good at taking and helping you rally the whatever audience that you have, funnel them towards this one launch event, letting you run a really great and streamlined and easy commerce process where backers can pledge in. They all get pooled in, and at the end of the campaign, when the campaign's over, our transaction is over, business is done. We'll send you the money and come back when you have your next project. And that's where Kickstarter has wanted to play in. And many other companies out there realized, okay, well, if Kickstarter is going to do all that, there's still a lot more that goes into being a successful crowdfunding creator. And so we've seen an entire economy of Kickstarter support tools for before, during, and after a campaign that has risen up to do the things that Kickstarter itself has not wanted to do. One of the things that I've been predicting, and especially under this new leadership, is I've been predicting that Kickstarter was going to claw back some of that and say, wait a minute, why are we letting all of these other businesses eat off the back of our massive platform that we have continued to grow? The revenue streams that other companies have been able to amass and work with, well, those are things that we could probably do, and probably do potentially at a higher level if we invest in that. And it seems like that's where Kickstarter is going. So let's see what this means.
The Kickstarter we're building today transcends traditional crowdfunding. We're evolving into a comprehensive funding and launch platform that not only introduces new ways to raise money and attract new backers, but also supports independent creators and innovators at every stage of their journey. This is the future we are actively building towards. Now, I'll pass it over to some other folks from the Kickstarter team to fill you in on what we're doing to make this vision real.
Hello, I'm Ilana Jacobs, VP of Product and Design here at Kickstarter. My team, along with the engineering team, creates all the features you use on Kickstarter. Like Everett said, the journey of bringing an idea to life doesn't end with funding. There's a whole world of responsibilities that kick in once your crowdfunding campaign wraps.
Yeah. And anyone knows that's done a Kickstarter crowdfunding project knows that funding is just the first step. A campaign is not truly successful until you've delivered on all of the promises that you make to your backers. So the fact that Kickstarter is potentially looking to take more of a partnership role in that, or at least support creators at a higher level throughout the process, is probably a good thing.
Like keeping up with backer communications, managing logistics, and fulfilling rewards. To support you through this crucial post-campaign stage, we've been developing a set of features to help you raise more funds, improve information sharing and information collection from creators and backers, and provide integrated pledge redemption. First, let's talk about how we're helping creators raise more funds post-campaign. In April, a select group of creators started testing late pledges, a new feature that allows creators who hit their funding goal to continue collecting pledges after their campaign officially ends.
We did a Comics Launch episode, Comics Launch session 460. No, sorry, Comics Launch session 457, where I shared this news, and I also shared a bunch of the questions that I personally had, and that I know a lot of creators were wondering about what this means now that Kickstarter is supporting late pledges. Later on in today's broadcast, I'm going to be doing a deep dive on this new feature, and we answer a lot of those questions. Still have a couple questions that are outstanding.
It means you can capitalize on any attention your project gets after the funding period. Our late pledges feature integrates directly into Kickstarter, erasing the need for third-party players and
that is the question. Does this new late pledge feature actually erase the need for third-party pledgers like BackerKit or Pledge Manager? Or is this something that you might use in conjunction with those? I'm teasing it, but I'm going to get into that.
Vetting a streamlined process right where your community is already supporting you. The early results have been really promising. Within 2 weeks, one creator raised an additional 35% of their original goal with late pledges.
So 35%, a 35% increase in like 2 weeks post-campaign launch. I believe it. I would be curious if the campaign that she is pointing out is also the campaign that they used and pointed people to in their marketing of the late pledge feature, and whether that might have helped it get an additional 35% bump. That said, it will be interesting to see what average looks like, or what the common post-campaign raise is for many creators, and it may also depend on the project and whether or not a creator or a creative team keeps the marketing apparatus going that was going during the Kickstarter campaign. But this is an initial win, I suppose, for Kickstarter. And note, prior to this edition of late pledges, once the campaign ends, Kickstarter's ability to raise funds for itself on that particular project also ended. And so many creators would go to would send people after the campaign was over. They would immediately direct them over to a BackerKit pre-order page, or a page on their own website, and continue to take orders and pledges that Kickstarter would have no part in. This is now a new revenue stream. Post-launch sales is now a new revenue stream for Kickstarter.
Within 2 weeks, one creator raised an additional 35% of their original goal with late pledges. This is the kind of success we want for all our creators. And now, yes, right now, we're making late pledges available to all Kickstarter creators worldwide, so that creators can keep the door open for more backers, more support, and bigger success. Let's move on to production and fulfillment. A seamless production and fulfillment process.
So yes, late pledges, the big announcement there was that late pledges is now available for all creators. It is turned on, and we're going to dive into that.
Let's move on to production and fulfillment. A seamless production and fulfillment process hinges on collecting detailed and accurate information from your backers, so you can get rewards to them efficiently. The information creators get from their backers helps them address key questions about manufacturing costs, shipping charges, and choosing the right fulfillment partners. Our current survey tool helps creators collect this essential information, but it's time for an upgrade.
Long overdue. Any creator that has done Kickstarter long enough, or has used Kickstarter and then used an external survey tool like BackerKit or Pledge Manager, instantly and immediately sees the limitations, the many limitations of the Kickstarter survey, especially since Kickstarter has rolled out add-on support, and as many campaigns have grown in terms of the number of products that they offer, the backlist that they offer, etc. The Kickstarter tool and survey tool, which is basically not one survey, but a series of surveys, one for every pledge level, has become definitely, it's only a really strong tool for very simple campaigns. And so this is definitely something that creators have been calling for a long time. but let's see what they're doing.
So we're excited to announce upcoming enhancements to our survey tool. In just a few weeks, creators will experience a revamped system on Kickstarter. We'll allow backers to enter their addresses, select item preferences like size and color, and respond to custom questions directly on the pledge details page.
So for a first bullet, that is actually kind of a weird first bullet because you can already do that with Kickstarter's survey tool. So not sure why they led with that.
Survey will also collect comprehensive responses for all items a backer has selected, including add-ons and multiple quantities. Simplified setup for creators, enabling them to configure their survey once.
So that's nice. One survey that can be configured and then configured once, and then will be disseminated to all backers, and will show backers questions appropriate for what their pledge level was suggested, similar to how BackerKit works, I assume.
For all backers, with our tool dynamically presenting the relevant questions based on the contents of each pledge. We'll also make it easier for backers to submit or update an accurate address. And backers, we haven't forgotten about your post-campaign needs. We're working.
One thing that was curiously absent from that announcement about the revised survey tool is the ability for backers to upgrade their pledges, add on to their pledge, change their pledge. That is one of the things that BackerKit and BackerKit Pledge Manager has makes probably most of its money on, is the ability to upsell backers when you send the Kickstarter survey. And it was surprising that they left that out, or any mention of that, or whether or not that will be something that they will do. So I will be watching this space on the surveys.
Working on building one clear location in our mobile app where backers can see the status of their pledges and provide necessary information to creators to ensure the successful delivery of the items they've supported. Bringing an idea to life is hard, so we want creators to have features and tools at their fingertips that makes their creative journey as easy, straightforward, and successful as possible. I've shared a lot about what's happening at Kickstarter, but there's more. Right, Andrew?
That's right. Hi, I'm Andrew Marks, General Manager and Director of Product for Kickstarter's Performance Team. If you've never heard of the Performance Team before, well, that's because it's brand new.
So a brand new team over at Kickstarter, the Performance Team. What are they up to? This is an interesting announcement. I think this is what's very interesting about what's coming is Kickstarter a couple of years ago, it made it really clear that Kickstarter's strategy was, we are going to do strategic partnerships with the people out there in the crowdfunding ecosystem that integrate well with our platform, and we're going to give special status to a pledge manager from KickTrack. We're going to give special status to GelUp for Facebook and digital marketing, and they're going to be preferred partners. And it seemed like a couple of years ago that was how Kickstarter was going to approach things. They weren't going to be doing this stuff in-house, but they were going to be helping creators by basically tapping certain vendors on the shoulder. They did the same with a fulfillment partner that they said this is a fulfillment partner that Kickstarter strongly endorses or recommends. And now it seems like Kickstarter's like, nah, we're not doing that. We're doing this stuff in-house. So here's the Performance Team.
And in fact, this is the first time we're talking about it. One of the key challenges for creators is attracting new audiences to their crowdfunding campaigns. Spreading the word about your campaign is crucial. It builds momentum and engages your community that's eager to see your idea succeed. We want to give creators the tools to maximize their reach and impact. And that's where the Performance Team comes in. We are a dedicated performance marketing unit that sits inside Kickstarter. For creators who have allocated a budget specifically for marketing, our holistic in-house service is designed to promote your campaign to people across the web so that you can connect with as many potential backers as possible. We know what it takes to run a successful crowdfunding campaign, and we use that experience to build and execute customized performance marketing strategies. Some call it performance marketing, others might refer to it as digital marketing. The end goal remains the same: to expand your campaign's visibility and success. We've been carefully developing and testing this service with a select group of creators. And so far, our Performance Team has helped creators raise nearly $1 million in pledges.
So what are we talking about here? This is basically Kickstarter's in-house digital marketing agency. No word yet on how this is all going to work. Sounds like it's in beta. Sounds like they've run, but they have selected a few campaigns, run ads for those campaigns, done marketing outreach for those campaigns, and I'm assuming taking a percentage on the back end. And so this performance team, I believe this is the first new revenue source potentially for Kickstarter outside of the percentage that they take on all backers. And so, this is Kickstarter where we said late pledges is coming at backer kit. Well, this is coming at also backer kit marketing. This is coming at the marketing service that backer kit offers. This is competing with Jellup and their Kickstarter crowdfunding marketing team. Sounds like Kickstarter's performance team. There's going to be an in-house way for you to pay Kickstarter or a team at Kickstarter, a specialized team at Kickstarter, to run ads on your campaign's behalf, which, assuming, will open up a new revenue stream for Kickstarter.
We've loved collaborating directly with creators, and our team provides support every step of the way, from creative services and pre-launch marketing support to navigating the complexities of ad measurement and execution. It's yet another way that we're reaching beyond the core crowdfunding model to help you bring your idea to life. Looking ahead, we're excited to roll out this in-house service to more creators, and we're excited to build even more data-powered tools and services to meet the needs of a broader range of creators. We're just getting started, but we can't wait to see how we can expand the range of how our data-powered tools and services can help creators meet and exceed their goals. Stay tuned.
And there, if you are someone who is interested in potentially working with the Kickstarter performance team, they have not opened up the direct ability to just start working with them, but they do have a performance inquiry form that you can fill out. It says, thank you for your interest in Kickstarter performance. We're still in beta, which means we can only take a limited number of creators. We're working hard to scale our services to support as many creators as we are able. We'll review your responses and we'll be in touch if you meet the criteria to join our beta. They ask for your email, your profile URL, your project link, target launch date, and the category. So some very simple info. I'm actually not sure if I haven't gone all the way through this to see if they ask more detailed questions, but so that is kind of similar to how many of the others work. Backer kit marketing does not accept everybody. Jellup does not accept everybody. Kickstarter performance, likely, at least in the early stages, will not be able to accept every project for marketing partnerships. So it remains to be seen what that criteria is to see that. Matt Knowles says, good about the survey. I have literally put that into every feedback form they've sent post campaigns. No one should have to create a new survey for every time. Yeah, that is, I've been asking the question, what, to hundreds of creators, what would they like to see changed on Kickstarter? And the ability to just create one survey and have that disseminate smartly to all backers was definitely something that has come up again and again. All right, so that was the announcement of the Kickstarter performance team, which is another sort of big announcement there.
More to come.
Hey, my name is Mahesh Guruswamy, Kickstarter's new Chief Technology Officer. I'm new to the Kickstarter team, but I've spent years building platforms for creators. What sets Kickstarter apart is not just the passion and alignment within our team, but also the fact that many of us, myself included, are creators too. This first-hand experience of knowing what it takes to bring.
Did you see that? I spilled coffee on my shirt because apparently I don't know how to look at myself, look at this video, and drink coffee at the same time.
An idea to life shapes our work and deepens our commitment to our mission. What you have heard from Ando and Ilana are just a glimpse into the future of supporting creators on Kickstarter. This year, you'll see us continue to build our performance marketing service and our suite of post-campaign features. Next year, we will shift our focus towards increasing backers' confidence in the projects they support and developing tools aimed at boosting creator success, especially for new creators. Your feedback is critical to building this future. Together with you, let's go build something cool. Here's to the next 15 years.
So that was interesting. So basically, they're announcing that the main thing that their technology is working on is supporting that performance team in the near term, and then they're also going to be looking at, all right, how do we support a wider range of creators? And I guess that always makes sense. It makes sense from a business standpoint. They have to support the projects that pay their bills, right? And so I do imagine that it really is those bigger projects that the performance team will be working with, at least in the near term. And you know, that it makes a lot of sense for Kickstarter to be doing something like that, assuming that they can get the in-house expertise. And the one thing that they have access to that maybe all of the other, like, you know, GelUp and BackerKit marketing, they have the ability to, you know, have a ton of data on people that actually go and, you know, interact with Kickstarter campaigns, because they have access to a subset of pixels from projects that use their service, and then that can help their you know, audience building or targeting just get stronger and stronger. But nobody has the data and the targeting and the ability to reach and create a full audience of the full Kickstarter experience, more so than Kickstarter does. So having an ad platform or running external ads does seem like, you know, it would be a very simple thing to get. No, not very simple. Everything's difficult, especially when you're stepping out of your core competence. But it seems like you know, they would definitely be in the prime position to have a very competitive offer and a very attractive offer for the creator out there looking to pay some money and hire a marketing agency. One of the scariest things to do is to, you know, trust an external source with promoting your project. Is it going to work? Are these people reliable? Is this just a big scam? Can I trust their data? Kickstarter has 15 years of trust built in with the creator community, and people have to understand, you know, a lot of those big projects that you see, the projects that raise 10, 20, $30 million on the Kickstarter platform. Well, oftentimes those projects are spending up to 10% of their total raise on things like digital marketing. And oftentimes the digital marketing companies take between 15 and 25% of the total of what those efforts are raising. That's a significant chunk of change out there that these digital marketing companies can rake in. And so this is going to open up a completely new advertising or a completely new revenue stream for Kickstarter that could be potentially quite lucrative for them. Now, I've also, so that I think is fine. Where what I'm worried about, or maybe even not worried is the wrong thing, but is the next step for Kickstarter to do the thing where that Amazon has done, and Facebook has done, and so many other platforms has done, is that they say, hey, wait a minute, we have a user base. We have people that are coming to our website because the name Kickstarter, and we are a trusted platform and a trusted shopping platform. So why don't we let our backers, or excuse me, why don't we let our creators pay for higher placement of projects, to get promoted, to be sponsored, to show up higher in the algorithm? And once they do that, yes, that will open up an awesome new revenue stream for them, but it will fundamentally change the Kickstarter platform, where it becomes sort of pay to play in a lot of ways. Right now on Amazon, if you want to compete on Amazon, you pretty much have to suck it up that you're going to be spending money every single day for paid views, because you need those paid views to keep the sales coming in, to keep you ranking higher organically, to keep more sales coming in. And so it's sort of a form of capture. And so I think that if they go down that route, that might be something where it may hurt the platform for the creator in the long run, because it's going to suck more and more money out of what's left at the end of the campaign. You know, right now, Kickstarter still is a platform where a good, 9 out of $10 that you raise is coming to the creator first, and then they can distribute it. But if Kickstarter starts having, well, you can pay us for marketing and you pay it for this, all of a sudden at the end of the campaign, creators are realizing, wait a minute, I'm only getting 50% of the total raise. That could be something that, will definitely make the budgeting a little bit more difficult. All right, let's see what else, if there's anything else we haven't.
Hey there, everybody. My name is Kim Alfonso, and I'm the VP of Creator and Backer Success here at Kickstarter. My team helps empower and support creators and backers so that they can have the best experience on the platform, whether that's launching a successful project or finding the perfect campaign to back. Since 2009, Kickstarter has championed all types of creative independence. The solo entrepreneur launching their first business, the serial entrepreneur ready to jump into another creative venture, established brands who want to test new concepts and deepen their connection to consumers, and people with passion projects who just want to see their idea take shape. Creative independence isn't defined by scale or scope. Whether you're embarking on this journey alone or with a team, as a newbie or a seasoned veteran, the essence of creative independence is about having the freedom to create and innovate on your own terms. And even if you don't consider yourself a creator, there's an unstoppable creative drive in each of us, asking questions like, could this be better, more interesting, more unexpected, more accessible and representative, more useful, more fun? We want everyone to have the chance to turn those questions, these seeds of an idea, into plans. Because when people get the chance to chase their ideas, the impact extends far beyond their individual success. New ideas lead to new solutions, set trends, create jobs, inject fresh energy into the world. As we embrace a new vision and new energy, we're more excited than ever to be the place where people get tools and support they need to bring new ideas to life on their own terms and change the world.
All right, so that was it. The major announcements here: late pledges are available for all. Kickstarter is now getting into the marketing game and opening up a new revenue stream for Kickstarter, Kickstarter itself, and a new option going forward for creators potentially to promote their projects. And that Kickstarter is essentially trying to claw back the and compete with the wider ecosystem of creator supports that have risen up and evolved over the past decade plus to support creators with tools and things that Kickstarter itself has up until now refused to do. So that's the new vision, and I'm excited to see how it continues to move on. All right. Just a sec. We're going to dive into late pledges. All right. Yeah, I'd love if you have comments, you're checking this out. Let me know what you think about these announcements. Would you work with Kickstarter marketing? Is that, or Kickstarter performance team? Is that something that you would consider? Is there something in particular that they could offer that would make you switch from one of the other groups? Let me know what your thoughts are on that. Okay, I want to talk now about late pledges, which it was announced on May 21st of this year that late pledges are now available for all Kickstarter projects. This was something that they teased was coming and was in beta a few weeks ago. And like we've seen with many things that Kickstarter's been doing lately, the beta to live for all process has actually been going very quickly. And so Kickstarter's rolled out late pledges for all creators. And we now have a number of answers to some of the biggest questions that I raised in ComixLaunch session 457 about how this would work. And the big announcement is that it's different. It's different than you might have assumed it would work. And it's a little bit different than I assumed that it would work. And so what I want to do in this session here is break down the new feature and share some best practices for how to use it. So let's just first look at how Kickstarter announced this. Again, this is over at their features, features.kickstarter.com. But they say late pledges, more time, more money. Now backers can pledge to your project even after time is up. And there is a enable late pledges button on this announcement that will bring you right to your Kickstarter projects dashboard so that you can turn it on for projects. But how to get started with late pledges, Kickstarter says it's a simple 3-step project. three-step process, excuse me. Step one, enable late pledges for your project before its deadline has been reached. And so you have the option whether or not you want to turn on late pledges or not. Step two is then to determine which rewards are available after your deadline is over. And you can set that at the reward level. And then step three is you can let your let pledges roll until you're ready to fulfill, and you'll get weekly payouts, and Kickstarter will take that same 5% fee. There will also be a similar fee on the credit card back end. All right, so that is the basics here. There are more details in Kickstarter's how-to, and we'll dive into some of that a little bit. But what I want to share now is 4 surprising things that about how Kickstarter's late pledges are working. All right, so these are the top 4 surprising things about late pledges. So thing number 1 is that late pledge support is only available for draft campaigns or live campaigns, but is not an available option for already completed campaigns. Okay, so this is something that we wasn't clear in the initial announcement, and I know there are probably some creators that were like, oh, the Kickstarter is going to allow late pledges. Maybe they're thinking, well, right now, I'm linking people over to my website, but I'm not getting a lot of backers over there. So this campaign that maybe ended a couple months ago, maybe I will instead go turn on my late pledges and just leave it open like a store over on Kickstarter, so that if people find my thing on my thing on Kickstarter, they can just pledge right there on Kickstarter, and I can make more pledges. And so I'm going to go and turn on late pledges for all of my past campaigns. It does not appear that that is how this is intended to work. It's not an option currently on completed campaigns. So if I go over to Sync Monsters, for example, this is one of my recent Kickstarter campaigns for Comics Tribe. You will see, in order to turn on late pledges, I need to be able to edit my project, but this is a ended project, and in my dashboard, I do not have the ability to edit my project. I can only view my project and go to the dashboard, but I can't make any changes to my project. An important change that I would need to make is to enable late pledges, and I can't do that. So this is only something that is available for projects that are in draft mode or projects that are in live mode right now. So live projects. So and we'll take a look at, we'll take a look at how this actually looks in Kickstarter and just some of the fine details of that in a minute. But what I want to do is just finish up my 4 big surprising things about how this all works. All right. So that was surprising thing number 1, though, that this is only for draft projects that have yet to launch and for projects that are currently live on Kickstarter. So if you do have a live project and you want to enable pledges, you can go ahead and do that. All right. Thing number 2 is that when toggled on, you will basically, when you toggle on and say, yes, I want to collect late pledges, additional settings will unlock in your reward tiers and in your add-ons. And it is in the reward and add-on section that you actually make all the key decisions about how you want your late pledges to work. And you can set some of your pledges, all of your pledges, or you could even do only one reward and make that available as your post-launch late pledge reward. It's up to you how many you want to do, and you have a lot of control over that. So that's surprising thing number 2. Surprising thing number 3 is that Kickstarter is pushing and recommending that you increase your late pledge amount, your late pledge costs for your rewards. And they suggest an increase of at least 10%. So that is something that is an interesting feature, that you actually have the ability to set a reward price for when it's live on Kickstarter, and then set a different price for that very same reward after the campaign is over. And we'll take a look at how that works. But they are encouraging you to do that, to bump the prices of your rewards after the campaign is over, presumably as a way to keep the momentum during your Kickstarter campaign, to make it clear that there is an advantage to be a Kickstarter backer and to get in while the campaign is live, which helps it helps to not diminish the specialness of a Kickstarter launch. And so Kickstarter recommends that. And then the fourth thing that was surprising and a little bit different than how BackerKit Pledge Manager or BackerKit pre-order stores work, and some of the other pre-order stores work, and why, and this also is something that makes this so that this is not exactly a replacement for some of those other tools out there, is that right now it seems that you must close your reward pledge and stop taking late pledges before you send your surveys for that reward tier. So this new feature is not an open-ended ongoing store that just lives on Kickstarter and continues to take pledges forever and ever and ever, akin to a BackerKit pre-order store, which you can keep open forever, or Indiegogo in demand, which presumably can keep your project open forever. It's not that. What Kickstarter's tool is saying is that after you send the surveys out, this thing is closed. And so we're not keeping this an open-ended store. We're actually keeping these are truly late pledge collections for that time between when the Kickstarter ends and when you are ready to collect all the information, send those surveys out, and move towards that next stage of fulfillment. That is completely different than what I had in mind and what a lot of creators had in mind about how this tool would work. And honestly, if I go back and look at some of my criticism for potential or the potential downside of this, well, that actually addresses a lot of the downside of this. You know, one of the things that I was concerned about with Kickstarter doing this is just the diminishing of the specialness of a Kickstarter launch, and also the challenge or the problem of, if projects are just collecting potentially orders for forever, would that create the situation where the most popular projects, the biggest projects, the most funded projects that show up on Kickstarter are the same projects month after month after month, because these things just are juggernauts that keep going, and the new projects that are launching can't bust free because you've got these wildly popular projects that just become perennial sellers and take up a lot of the oxygen and the real estate on the Kickstarter platform. You know, in the past, biggest project of all time launches, but when that campaign ends, well, that campaign is not taking any more money, and it's not taking any oxygen away from that new independent project launched by a creator for their first time. And in that sense, on the Kickstarter platform, you know, a first-time creator launching its first project with a very small audience, well, that project actually has more fundraising potential on the Kickstarter platform than, you know, Boom's latest massive multi-million-dollar launch, right? So I was worried about, well, if this becomes essentially an evergreen store for projects, that could really change the way Kickstarter works and make it a little bit harder for the small creators. So this is not what that's not, it seems like, at least right now, this is not creating that new store. It is literally just there's an extended period of time between when the campaign ends and when you send that Kickstarter survey that you have to take in more funding. But there will be a definitive end point where you close it and then you fulfill, and it is done. So that was definitely interesting to me. And so I'm going to look at, or what I want to look at a little bit right now is just dive in a little bit more about what Kickstarter is saying about this stuff, some of the details, and then I want to look at how this actually looks in the Kickstarter platform, and where it all is, how you set it up. And then I'm going to wrap by sharing 5 pro tips on how I think this works best. And I'll also share how I'm going to be using it. Ryan Clater asks, is it clear if turning this feature on eliminates this current availability of a button with an external link? So that's a good question, Ryan. What I believe happens is if you turn this on, your page will continue to look like it looks when the Kickstarter campaign is live, in that the rewards are active. And so, yes, I believe you will not have a button that is externally linking out, but rather it will still be, back this project. So, and it won't be until you have closed taking late pledges that button will appear. But that's a really good question of just how that works dynamically, and I'm sure that's a lot that they had to figure out on the back end. So let's here we go. Just a little bit more detail from Kickstarter on this. I want to dive in and see the guidance that they're giving, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on that. But how do I add late pledges to my project? To add late pledges to your project, you will first need to enable this in the Basics tab of your project editor. So again, for projects that are already over, you can't do anything. This is only for live projects or projects that are in draft mode. And you will see, if you go to your basics, here's a project that I'm working on, the new issue of Epic. If you scroll down to the bottom, you will see introducing late pledges. Backers can now continue to pledge your campaign after it is successfully funded. And so you see a toggle: no, don't enable late pledges. Backers will only be able to pledge to your project until it reaches its deadline. Or yes, enable late pledges. Backers will be able to pledge for rewards configured to be available beyond campaign deadline. You'll configure rewards to be available for late pledges when creating them. So I'm going to hit save on that, and that will take you to the next tab, is rewards. Okay. So it says, once late pledges are enabled in the Basics tab, head to Rewards tab and start creating your rewards. You'll see some additional settings for each reward tier and add-on, which includes setting a late pledge amount. And this is the price that they'll pay for that specific reward after the campaign is over. And they recommend an increase of 10% for late pledges. And then you will also determine when the reward will be available for and how long. You will actually choose when it will start and end, as well as a setting on whether or not the reward will end on or after your campaign deadline. It also says you need to enable at least one reward for late pledges when your campaign ends, if you toggle on that late reward. It says, please note that your late pledges must be enabled when your project is in draft or while your campaign is still live. After the campaign is ended, it will no longer be possible to enable late pledges. Okay. So this is something that if you want this option and your project is live and ending today, you got to hurry up and get this set up. Otherwise, you may be out of luck. So when we go to rewards, I haven't set up any rewards for this in development project yet, but you will see I've got rewards here. I've got this toggled on, and now because this is toggled on, I have a new section in my rewards for configure late pledges. It says you've enabled late pledges, which means you can set when your rewards should be available. for how long, and after your campaign ends. Please note late pledges will only activate if your project is successfully funded. So again, this is not an option for creators that maybe reach 70% funded but don't hit the deadline. Enabling late pledges will not give you a chance to keep going. This is only something for projects that fund. So in late pledges, it said, when would you like this reward to be made available? This reward becomes available at the start of your campaign, when my campaign ends, or custom date. Okay, so you actually have the ability to create pledge levels that only activate once your campaign is over. Or you have the ability to configure your pledge levels or existing pledge levels. You can sort of do double duty where they are a pledge level that carries over until the campaign ends. And so you now have this new setting down here that you can. This is sort of determining the start point and the end point. And this is something that you could do previously on Kickstarter. You could determine when a reward was started and when a reward stopped or ended. Those are sort of limited time rewards. That was a feature that you could always do. What is new here is that you can now extend this beyond the campaign. And so when would you like this reward to stop being available? Your options are when my campaign ends, when I manually end this reward's availability, or a custom date and time. Okay, so I will probably, when I'm setting this up, I'm probably, for rewards that I want to be available after the campaign is over, I'm probably going to use this when I manually end this reward's availability. This reward will be available for late pledging until you decide to manually end it. I like that. I don't want to, there's always a chance that my survey might go out later than expected, or something might happen, something might come up, or something might sell really well, or you go viral on social and post-launch pledges are better than expected. You might want to keep it open. I like just clicking this and having the control of, hey, it's going to stay open until I say it's not going to, until I say it's going to close. All right. And so you have the ability to sort of set this up and save that. I'm looking at, so here's the other big difference over here. Test. You have the ability to set the pledge amount, so $10, and then late pledge amount. And interestingly enough, Kickstarter automatically does some math for you and suggests a price for your late pledge amount that is about 10% higher than what your pledge price is. So, if your pledge amount was 50 in the late pledge, it ghosts a suggestion of about $56. So you do not have to make your late pledge amount more than what's on Kickstarter, but Kickstarter is recommending that you do bump the price a little bit to keep your Kickstarter backers that support during the campaign to reward them. So that is an interesting little feature there, and it's nice that they just have that set up right there so that you can set prices in that way. So that is how you do it with late pledges, how you set it up on Kickstarter, and you'll have to do this for all of your rewards. You will also, it's okay, continue. If you click on your add-ons, you'll notice that all of your add-ons also have this new late pledge amount and pledge amount pricing, as well as a configure late pledges button. So this is going to add a little bit of time to setting up your Kickstarter project pages because you're going to have a couple more boxes to check, a couple more decisions to make, but it is something that will definitely be available for all creators and is definitely a game changer on the platform. A few more details the Kickstarter shares. What are the fees for late pledges? Fees collected on late pledges, same as those collected on original campaign pledges. Kickstarter will collect 5% fees plus payment processing fee of roughly 3 to 5%. So same deal there. And then the last question, how long can I accept late pledges for? How long you wish to accept late pledges is entirely up to you. However, when you're ready to send your surveys or begin fulfillment for a specific reward, you will need to end late pledges for that reward. We will also recommend that you end late pledges if your project hasn't received any late pledges for 30 days. After ending late pledges for a reward, it won't be possible to re-enable. So it is a all or nothing decision there. Once that late pledges ends, you are that's the end of it. Now, here's one special case caveat that I'm interested in, and I'm not really sure how this will be handled. But what if you are using BackerKit Pledge Manager for your surveys? Well, if you're using BackerKit Pledge Managers for your surveys, but you never send the Kickstarter survey, presumably you could keep your late pledges open indefinitely, right? For most of my campaigns for the last 20 plus campaigns have not used the Kickstarter survey at all. I don't send them. I use an external survey tool like BackerKit Pledge Manager. I've used Pledge Manager's tool. In the old days, I used CrowdOx before it merged with BackerKit. And so I don't send my Kickstarter surveys. I don't use those. And so presumably that's sort of like a loophole to having the ability to keep your late pledges open for forever. But I guess one of my questions is that, it says, we will recommend that you end late pledges if your project hasn't received any late pledges for 30 days. I'm wondering if that actually triggers a notice from Kickstarter, if they have that programmatically, or if that is just a best practice that they're suggesting. So there are some questions about logistics, about how this is going to tie into other tools that I'm going to dive into. All right. So let me check some comments. We got my pal John Kratke just wrapped up a launch. He says, I like it because I'm a fence sitter on campaigns and sometimes I sit too long. Now I can still support. I'm my own worst enemy. I don't know about that, John. You just might be a little frugal or busy as a creator. And we can't always support every project, but it definitely I think we will see projects, the window of just missing campaigns. Well, that might be something that most projects going forward, we don't have to worry about that. It's also the nice thing is that it will take away that excuse that every crowdfunder has heard from people in your world who, after you're done promoting your Kickstarter campaign, and screaming about it for the high heavens for months and months and months, and then the campaign ends and you're exhausted, and then somebody says, hey man, when are you launching that project? I really want to back it. Well, now you can say, go back it, man. Here's the link. Even though it ended 3 days ago, you can still do that. Okay. So the one other thing that I want to show you on Kickstarter that is a change, and this is another thing that I was curious about how this was going to work, is how is this going to change how Kickstarter reports the funding that it sends to you? And so in the past, when you click on your Kickstarter dashboard for past projects, you will see something that looks like this. And so I'm pulling up a past project. Now, this is not a project that had this late pledges feature turned on, but it is a project that is a past project. And you'll see that if you want to get all the details on your funding, including the breakdown of your payments or to get an invoice from your Kickstarter, there's a button that says click View Funding Summary. Now, when you click on View Funding Summary, this is actually a new page. In the past, it would bring up a page that had all the details about your singular payment and payout from Kickstarter. Prior to this, Kickstarter would only send one payout per project. One payment 2 weeks after your campaign is over to your bank account that's associated with your Kickstarter. That was what Kickstarter would pay you. But with late pledges announced, this means that Kickstarter needs to be able to pay you multiple times. and do multiple payouts. And so there's a new projects payouts page that presumably you will see these payouts show up, and you will see, your first payout, which will be from the campaign itself, and then presumably you will see payouts in numerical fashion going forward that are related to post-launch payouts. So if you want all the details on your payout, you now have to click again, and this will show you on a per payout basis what this looks like. And so that is just a small change, not clear. And I did not see in the Q&A how soon after a new late pledge order comes in, will that be paid out by Kickstarter? Is it 2 weeks after? Is it, do they, do a one payout every week and do it on a weekly basis and roll up however many late pledges come in per week? Is it per 2 weeks? Is it per month? I don't have that information yet. And so I will be checking out and hopefully update this once that information is clear. But that's how you're going to be able to see the late pledges show up in your campaigns post your Kickstarter. Okay. So we've been talking late pledges. We've been talking about this new feature, which is available now for all creators on the Kickstarter platform. I want to wrap things up with some of my pro tips on how I will use this feature. I would also like to hear, if you're watching, if you're tuning in, what are your thoughts? What do you like about it? Were you surprised at anything that Kickstarter announced? Is there something that you want to see it do that it can't do? Is this something that you're going to turn on? How are you going to approach this? Will this change how you interact and set up your Kickstarter campaigns? I am curious about that. But here are my 5 pro tips on late pledges that are now available for Kickstarter creators. So pro tip number 1, yes, definitely turn it on. I believe that compared to linking out to an external website, whether that is your website or a BackerKit pre-order page or your own Shopify site or a PayPal button, however you are taking late pledges post a campaign on Kickstarter, I believe that taking pledges right there on Kickstarter will convert better than redirecting people to an external link. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, if they're on Kickstarter, chances are they're already logged on to Kickstarter, which means the checkout process is as easy as a click or two. And that is different than if they have to go somewhere else, log into a different account, create a different account, check out with a credit card, upload payment information, pull up PayPal, do whatever. Like, they're already logged in on Kickstarter. It's a frictionless environment to take their money. And you can presume that if they're on Kickstarter, they understand that they're more likely to understand how Kickstarter works. And so it's a no-brainer. I would definitely turn this on because I think compared to other ways that you might take late pledges, this is going to convert higher than others. And Oliver 656, what's up, Oliver? He says, yes, I will definitely use late pledges. So I'm with you, Oliver. My second pro tip is streamline and simplify your campaign for post-launch. I see a lot of campaigns out there that have just dozens and dozens and dozens of rewards, especially some of the not safe for work campaigns. But one thing that you're going to have after the campaign is over is and near the end of the campaign is you're going to have a lot of data on what are the most popular pledge levels, what pledge levels are people really resonating with them, what are they not resonating with. And I believe after a campaign is over, it's probably a good time to cull the herd and just give a small number of options for the pledge levels so that it's a very streamlined experience. And also so that people aren't hunting through the campaign and then also maybe comparing different pledge levels to what they were priced during the campaign. Sometimes that can be something that might throw them off, especially if the price is a little bit more. So I would go with a streamlined, smaller set of the most popular pledge levels and have those be your pledge tiers. One of the reasons that you can do that and probably not lose any sales or many sales at all is that you can also make all of your add-ons available as after the campaign is over. So if you streamline and simplify your pledge tiers, but still let all of the add-ons be available, well, they can actually customize their pledges afterwards, but it will look a lot cleaner on the page post-campaign. So make it simple. Stick to your most popular pledges. Keep all or most of the add-ons so that they can still customize their pledges. And then I would also say, like, if there were if you and your marketing leaned into something being, hey, this is a Kickstarter exclusive or this is a time-based exclusive, honor that. Like, make sure that people, that Kickstarter backers don't feel disincentivized for backing during the campaign or taking action when they did. Honor that. All right. Pro tip number 3 is boost your prices. Boost your prices. Your backers will appreciate it, and late backers probably won't even notice it. And as you know, John mentioned, sometimes he's a fence sitter and sometimes he sits too long and misses campaigns. The ability to back a project and get in on a Kickstarter project after the campaign is over might be a relief to some backers, and such that they'll say, oh, you know what? I missed the best possible deal, but at least I'm still getting in and getting this. So I don't mind paying an extra 10% surcharge or whatnot. And so I think boosting your prices post-campaign is probably a good idea. It still keeps the primacy and the importance of supporting during the Kickstarter and rewards your Kickstarter backers, but it also lets you keep taking funding after the campaign is over. And even a $1 or $2 bump for some of your pledge levels, hey, that's enough of an incentive to keep it right. So that is number 3, boost your prices on your late pledge rewards. Number 4 is that I suggest you run it for a minimum of 2 weeks and do that while Kickstarter does its thing. Now, we know that in most cases, for a lot of campaigns, Kickstarter is, for the first week after your campaign is over, there's going to be errored pledges that Kickstarter was unable to collect. And you want, and I want Kickstarter the ability to do that work, right? So that's going on in the background. So that's a good time to be taking these late pledges as well. And then also there's another week before Kickstarter sends you out the funds, such that you start, that you get the funds in your bank account, et cetera. And so bare minimum, I would say that 2-week window post Kickstarter campaign should be your pre-order or your pre-order window or late pledge window. For campaigns that maybe you won't fulfill for a longer time, well, extending that window, extending that late pledge window would definitely be something that might be that might make sense. But I would say 2 weeks is probably the best time to do that. Also, it's that initial 2 weeks after the campaign is over that you're probably going to get the highest amount of post-launch traffic. You know, I looked at one of my latest campaigns and we had 184 people visit my Kickstarter page in the 2 weeks after that campaign was over. Even though I drove no traffic intentionally to that page, but that's people seeing social media posts late. That's people hearing about it. That's people discovering it. That's people, clicking old emails, etc. 184 users during that 2-week period post the Kickstarter campaign being over. Presumably, some of those users would have backed had they sought out our Kickstarter campaign, gone to that page, and been able to click that link and back really easily. And so this is kind of downtime post most for the way most creators run their campaigns anyway. So it seems like a no-brainer time to just like, hey, yeah, we'll collect some additional pledges while that's going on. All right. And then my fifth pro tip is that you're going to want to close down all of your pledge rewards when you are ready to send your surveys. And that's whether you're using Kickstarter or you're still using an external survey tool like BackerKit's survey tool. And so that is something that is probably how you're going to want to approach it. Now, there are some questions that I have. And this could get a little dicey because this is sort of changing how these tools have always been used. And so I'm not entirely sure how or if this change over on Kickstarter to allow late pledges, how that will integrate and affect working with BackerKit. If you are still sticking with BackerKit Pledge Manager for your surveys after the campaign is over. And even though Kickstarter announced that they will be revamping their survey, that revamp is not live. And that revamp also still, as far as I know, will not go that extra step of making it very, very easy to do upsells and additional add-ons when you send the survey. So as far as I'm concerned, right now, as of May 22nd, using BackerKit using BackerKit Pledge Manager is still a must use for most bigger crowdfunding campaigns, because it can do things and will raise money that the Kickstarter survey will not, even if Kickstarter is allows taking late pledges. And so I'm not clear about how this is going to work. Like, I'm not clear like how late pledges will be integrated with BackerKit, whether BackerKit will continually pull late pledges as they come in. Is it designed to do that, or was it designed to pull your backers once? Does it have to constantly be updated? It's not clear if late backers will get imported, or if somehow if you send your BackerKit survey, but then a late backer comes through Kickstarter, how will that person get a survey? So there's some edge cases and some interesting things to solve. I think that BackerKit will need to do some work and Kickstarter will need to do some work potentially, or at least provide some guidance for how this is all going to work. And so I don't have all of those answers. I will be seeking those out. But what my plan and how I'm going to plan to utilize this, but also not throw out what has worked very well for me across campaigns, is my plan is I'm going to activate BackerKit, or excuse me, I'm still going to use BackerKit for my pledge surveys, but I am going to activate Kickstarter late pledges for some rewards and most, if not all, add-ons. I'm going to raise prices for some or all of the pledge levels and add-ons so that I'm honoring my Kickstarter backers as getting the best deal. I'm going to take pre-orders or take late pledges for at least 2 weeks after the campaign is over, which is usually the time that I am letting Kickstarter do its thing and collect errored pledges and collect all of the money and then transfer it to me. So 2 weeks after the campaign is over, I'll take those late pledges on Kickstarter. And then when I'm close to or ready to send that BackerKit survey, I'm going to close down my late pledge rewards on Kickstarter. I'm assuming by turning them off, I will then have that redirect button available on my Kickstarter page that I can then send people to my BackerKit pre-order store after my late pledge period is over and after I close those down, and then I will take orders as I have been doing after that. So that's how I'm going to approach. I still will need to confirm with BackerKit how those edge cases might work, and to make sure that that late pledges are still being imported into BackerKit after the campaign has ended. So that's one thing that I still need to discover. So that is my plan. That's what I'm going to do going forward. Curious to hear how y'all are going to approach this as well. Nathan Blanchard asked, might be a stupid question, but do you have to reach goal for it to work? I'm new to Kickstarter. Nathaniel, not a stupid question, especially if you're new to Kickstarter. Yes, this is a feature for successful campaigns that want to collect additional funding. This is not a feature that failed campaigns can turn on so that they can maybe hit their goal, but just need more time. Kickstarter's not playing that game, but this is a way that the successful campaigns that hit 100% funded, can collect some additional funding after the campaign is over. Nathaniel, I will also point out, if you are new to Kickstarter and you want some additional support around this, I would encourage you, head over to ComixLaunch.com/class. I've got a 1-hour masterclass where I break down the 4 steps to a successful comic book Kickstarter launch, opportunities for you to ask questions, Q&A, the whole 9. It's a great place for newbies and for creators that are just getting started on their creative journeys to make Kickstarter work for you. Yeah, I'd love to share some of what I've learned from successfully launching over 35 successful campaigns, raising over $1 million in funding on the crowdfunding platforms to get things rolling. And I'm excited. Kickstarter has announced a new vision for the next 15 years, and I think it's a great time actually to be a brand new creator on Kickstarter. So yeah, man, I'm rooting for you. Keep me up to date on how things go with your journey. All right, that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all of your great questions and interest in everything that's going on over on Kickstarter. Things have never been more interesting on the platform and beyond. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Can't wait to see what y'all launch next.